Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles, back again for another review. This time it's the Hot Toys MMS359 Wonder Woman. For all your 1/6 scale figures and more, click the link in the description below to head on over to Sideshow Collectibles. They ship worldwide, so definitely check them out. Alright, so I got this about 3 weeks ago from Sideshow, and she has just been sitting here waiting for me to do the review, partly because I have been busy, but also because I've been pretty terrified to actually move any part of her, and putting all the accessories and so on her was pretty nerve-wracking for me. I am a bit of a pansy in moving my figures around, as most of you would probably know, and with the skin and the paint texture on the rubber body, I have been pretty scared in moving her around. So I won't go through too much of the articulation and so on. But I would recommend, if you do want to have a good look at the articulation, Dean Knight over at his Night Vision channel on YouTube has quite a number of videos on Wonder Woman, and one of them shows the articulation in quite a lot of detail, so I would definitely check out Dean's channel for that. But what I was going to do for my quick review was to just go through the points that I like and don't like. The box and accessories I'll just quickly go through now. She doesn't come with too much. She does come with these swap out gauntlets for, I think, the scene where she does that crossover arm move, which I never bothered trying with the body, and I think would probably end up damaging the body if you left it in that position for too long. And of course she comes with her variety of hands here. So there you get a couple of closed fist hands, like so, and then you get a couple of hands to hold the lasso of truth, and some relaxed hands that are by default. So I've pulled out the hands to use with the shield and the sword, but I'll quickly go through all the pros and cons for me. Hold on. Alright, one aspect I don't like is the sword. I mean, in detail wise it is pretty nice, but it would have been good if it was at least metal of some sort, or had a bit of weight to it. It's very soft plastic actually, you can bend it quite a lot, so that was a bit of a disappointment for me in this price range, and with other manufacturers making swords and so on in metal, I would have thought they would have tried to do a little bit better there. The shield also could have been done in metal or some sort. The patterning is not too bad. You can still sort of make out I don't know if that's an eagle or something on there, but the detailing is pretty good. And on the inside, you do need to futz around with the hand. It was a bit tricky. You need to put the hand in first and slide it over the gauntlet to get her to hold the shield. But once it's on, it's not too bad, and it holds fairly firm. The other aspect I don't quite like, the head sculpt, I wouldn't say is a knock out of the park for Hot Toys. From some angles it looks pretty good, and from other angles it looks fairly generic. I think their latest teased figure from Justice League that I think they've had at a few of the latest comic conventions is a big improvement, I think, and it has that sort of furrowed brow where she pretty much has that in most of the movies where she's about to go into battle. So I think that head sculpt is a big improvement. If you haven't got this on order, and it has been a while for this to come out, but if you haven't got it on order and can wait another maybe 12 months, it's probably worth waiting for that Justice League version. But as always, the skin texture, the realism in the eyes, and the lips and so on are all up to Hot Toys standard. It's just the likeness probably isn't as strong as they have in other figures. The other aspect that probably scares me are these things that, or this armband. Over time I definitely feel that will leave some sort of residue on the body, but I guess if you don't move it, then you'll probably never see that residue anyway. But over time I think that will damage the body, much like when I took off the gauntlets and the shin guards and so on. You do see some markings on the skin underneath, but not much you can really do about that. I am worried about this shoulder harness, and whether or not where it leaves or where it touches her skin, whether or not that's going to leave some sort of mark over time. But we'll just have to see on that. I guess it's not Hot Toys' fault that the overall design of this harness is It doesn't really make all that much sense, to be honest, because it really should be going across the other way. And I think they corrected that in the actual Wonder Woman movie, where the strap does go the other way, although there were a few scenes where it sort of jumped shoulder to shoulder, so that's a bit of a continuity issue there for them. But of course, if the sword is to be stored at the back, pointing up with the handle this way as she pulls it out with the right hand, then of course the harness needs to be across her shoulder in the opposite direction. So overall, not too big a deal from a design accuracy perspective, since they followed the movie, but it doesn't really make all that much sense. Also, the fact that they use this plastic press stud, I hate the way Hot Toys uses those press studs. I've broken a few on some jackets and so on other figures, so I don't know why they don't use metal studs. I think even Sideshow and In Flames toys use metal studs, so I'm not sure why they can't do that either. Skirt issue, I do have that skirt issue, as many do, where it's not quite symmetrical at the back and you see more of her skin on that side. There was a video, I think, I can't remember what the channel was called, Pam's Customs or something like that, where she went through a bit of a fix on how you could close that gap. I'm not going to bother doing that. It does need you to pull this side of the skirt across to close that gap and then glue it in place, so I'm not going to bother with that. And the reason why it has happened is because this side of the skirt here is starts a lot more forward than this side, but I guess that just comes down to an assembly issue in the factory. And hopefully with the Justice League version they correct that. But that pretty much covers most of the things that I don't like. This is the first figure I have with rooted hair, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to futz around with it. I think I do prefer it most of the time with her hair behind her shoulders, although in that scene in Batman vs Superman, her hair does sort of come over her shoulders a bit, so I'll futz around with it and see how I go to at least make it look semi-realistic, but I will definitely have it in this sort of museum pose on the shelf. So I might just grab Batman and Superman from the corresponding movie and give you guys a look at all three. Alright, so here is the Trinity finally complete from Batman vs Superman, and I have to say they do look pretty damn fantastic together. It's taken seemingly forever to finally do it, but I'm glad Hot Toys has finally got around to getting the Wonder Woman figure out. Batman and Superman are fantastic figures. I love the texture in the bodies and the cape, especially on Superman. The cape on Batman was a bit of a disappointment, but I think they have corrected that in the Suicide Squad version. There were some slight modifications to the cape and the body, I think, but overall not enough for me to upgrade, and I doubt the Justice League Wonder Woman will be a big enough upgrade for me to buy that one as well. It'll be interesting to see what the other characters turn out in their figure form. They haven't actually announced them yet, but I think they will probably do so as the movie comes closer. So it'll probably be at least another 6 to 12 months for those figures to come out, and I probably would have run out of room by then. But we'll see what happens in the collection. But again, hopefully you like that quick look at what I like and don't like about the Wonder Woman figure. But in the end, I think it looks great on display. So this is pretty much the way I'll have it on display. And hopefully you can click that like and subscribe button and check out the Facebook page for some more photos that I'll post up during the week. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.